Zelthar was known as one of the best assassins in the galaxy. With sharp eyes and quick reflexes, they had completed many missions without fail. Today, they received a new job that excited them. The client wanted a human eliminated, and Zelthar had never faced a human before. The job took Zelthar to a wild planet called Terra 7. This planet was covered in thick forests and towering mountains. It was full of dangerous creatures that could rip an alien apart in seconds. But Zelthar was not afraid. They had trained for years and believed they could handle anything. As Zelthar landed their sleek ship, they quickly checked their gear. The assassin wore a dark suit that blended perfectly with the shadows. They had advanced technology, including a small device that could make them invisible. With everything in place, Zelthar set off into the dense woods. The forest was alive with sounds, birds screeching, leaves rustling, and creatures howling in the distance. Zelthar moved silently, keeping low to the ground. They were on a mission, and nothing would stop them. The human they was after had a strange reputation. People said this human could tame the fiercest animals. That was odd, thought Zelthar. How could a small, soft creature like a human control powerful beasts? As Zelthar moved deeper into the forest, they spotted signs of the human. Broken branches, paw prints, and strange markings on the trees showed that this was the human's territory. The assassin felt a mix of curiosity and excitement. What kind of human could live here? After some time, Zelthar finally reached a clearing. Sunlight poured in, illuminating the area. There, sitting on a large rock, was the human. They appeared relaxed, wearing simple clothes and a wide-brimmed hat. At first, Zelthar thought they looked weak, but then they noticed something surprising. Around the human, dangerous creatures roamed freely. Massive cats with sharp teeth lay near the human, purring softly. Zelthar could hardly believe their eyes. How could this human sit among such fierce animals without fear? It was clear that the stories were true. This human had a strange power. Zelthar crouched low, observing closely. They watched as the human reached out a hand to a giant feline. To Zelthar's shock, the creature nuzzled against the human's palm. The human smiled, their eyes shining with warmth. This was not the behavior of a predator. It was like the animal was a pet. Zelthar's heart raced. They had to complete the mission, but this unexpected sight filled them with doubt. The assassin took a deep breath and focused. They checked their weapon, ready to strike when the moment was right. Zelthar had a job to do, and they knew they couldn't let their feelings get in the way. But as they watched the human play with the apex predators, the assassin felt a strange pull toward them. Just then, Zelthar saw something move in the bushes. It was another predator, a massive beast with glowing eyes. It was hungry and stalking closer to the human. Zelthar's instincts kicked in, and they prepared to intervene. But then, something unexpected happened. The human sensed the danger and turned. Instead of panicking, they stood tall and faced the beast. Zelthar was amazed. The human didn't run. They reached out slowly, their voice calm and soothing. "Easy now, friend," the human said gently. The beast paused, confused by the human's bravery. Zelthar felt their heart pound in their chest. This human was different. They had courage that seemed to draw the predators in. In that moment, Zelthar knew this mission would not be easy. The assassin gripped their weapon tighter, torn between their duty and the unexpected respect they felt for the human. Could they really go through with the plan after witnessing such bravery? As the human continued to calm the beast, Zelthar's mind raced with thoughts of what would come next. Zelthar watched in awe as the human faced the massive predator with confidence. It was a sight unlike anything they had seen before. Most beings would run away from such a dangerous creature, but not this human. They stood their ground, speaking softly and reassuringly. The predator, once ready to attack, seemed to hesitate. Zelthar could hardly believe their eyes. How could someone so small and soft control a beast that could easily tear them apart? The assassin felt a strange mixture of fear and curiosity. They had come to eliminate this human, but now they found themselves fascinated by the incredible bond between the human and the creatures around them. The human continued to soothe the predator, stroking its fur gently. The creature relaxed, its fierce eyes softening as it leaned into the human's touch. Zelthar's heart raced as they wondered if they should reveal themselves. The urge to intervene was strong, but so was the desire to understand this strange human. Suddenly, a loud rustling came from the bushes. Zelthar turned quickly, their senses alert. Another predator, A massive reptilian creature burst into the clearing, its scales glinting in the sunlight. The creature's eyes locked onto the human, hungry and focused. Zelthar's instincts kicked in. This was their chance to act. They raised their weapon, ready to protect the human. But before they could pull the trigger, the human turned again. With surprising calmness, the human raised their hands in a peaceful gesture. "Not today," they said firmly. The reptilian beast paused, its gaze shifting from the human to the human's outstretched hands. Zelthar couldn't believe what they were witnessing. The human was not just taming the beasts, they were commanding respect. Slowly, the reptile lowered its head. It sniffed the air, its tongue flicking out to taste the scent of the human. Zelthar felt their heart race again, but this time it was from admiration. How could one being have such power over these fierce creatures? As the human continued to speak softly, Zelthar lowered their weapon slightly, intrigued by the scene unfolding before them. The predators began to gather around the human, drawn to their calm presence. It was as if the human were a magnet for the wild, untamed beasts. The human began to move through the clearing, walking confidently among the apex predators. Zelthar followed, careful to remain hidden. They could not tear their eyes away from the amazing sight. The human petted the giant cats, their strong bodies brushing against the human's legs. Zelthar marveled at the sight of such raw power and gentle strength existing side by side. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the clearing, Zelthar felt a change inside them. The mission they had come for seemed less important. Instead, they found themselves captivated by the human's connection with the beasts. They saw how the human cared for them, offering safety and love in a dangerous world. Zelthar remembered their training. Assassins were not supposed to feel empathy. They were taught to be cold and focused. Yet here they were, feeling a warmth towards this human. It was confusing and thrilling at the same time. Suddenly, a loud roar echoed through the forest. The predators turned sharply, their ears perked up. Zelthar's instincts kicked in again. They knew something was wrong. The roar was close and it sounded angry. The human looked around, sensing the change in the air. "Stay close," the human said to the predators, their voice steady. The beasts obeyed, surrounding the human in a protective circle. Zelthar felt a rush of admiration for the human's bravery. They were willing to stand against danger, not just for themselves, but for the creatures they had bonded with. Zelthar's heart raced as they realized they could not just watch anymore. Something was about to happen, and they had to choose. Would they continue their mission, or would they step out of the shadows and join this human in facing the unknown? As the roar grew louder, Zelthar took a deep breath, preparing to make a choice that would change everything. As the loud roar echoed through the forest, Zelthar's heart raced. They could feel the tension in the air. The predators surrounding the human tensed, their muscles coiling like springs. Zelthar knew they had to decide quickly. Would they remain hidden or step forward and help? The roar came again, louder this time. It sounded like a massive creature was charging through the trees. Zelthar's instincts screamed at them to flee, but they couldn't tear their eyes away from the human, who stood firm. "Stay close!" the human shouted, their voice strong and calm. The predators seemed to understand, instinctively moving closer to the human. Zelthar watched in awe as the human took charge of the situation. They felt a pull to join the human, to stand together against whatever was coming. Suddenly, a huge creature burst into the clearing. It was a monstrous bear-like beast, larger than anything Zelthar had ever seen. Its sharp teeth gleamed in the fading sunlight, and its eyes were filled with rage. It charged straight toward the human and the predators. Zelthar's instincts kicked in. They could not let this happen. Without thinking, Zelthar stepped out of the shadows, their weapon raised. "Get back!" they shouted, hoping to draw the creature's attention away from the human. The human turned, surprise written all over their face. "Wait! Don't shoot!" they called out, but Zelthar was already in motion. As the creature lunged forward, Zelthar aimed carefully. They had never missed a shot before, but now their hands shook. They did not want to harm the human, nor did they want to hurt the creature without reason. At that moment, everything felt wrong. The human stepped forward, fearlessly placing themselves between the charging beast and the predators. "Please, it's scared! Let me handle this!" they pleaded, their voice steady but urgent. Zelthar hesitated. The human was willing to risk their life for the sake of the creature. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. This human was not just brave, they were compassionate. It struck Zelthar like a bolt of lightning. Lowering their weapon, Zelthar watched as the human approached the monstrous beast with open hands. "Easy now," the human said, their voice soothing. "You don't need to fight." The bear-like creature slowed, its fierce eyes studying the human. It paused, confusion washing over it. Zelthar could hardly breathe, waiting to see what would happen next. Slowly, the human began to move closer, speaking softly. "I know you're scared. You're not alone." Zelthar could see the human's heart in their eyes, full of warmth and understanding. To Zelthar's amazement, the creature stopped its charge. It lowered its massive head, sniffing the air, drawn in by the human's gentle presence. The predators that had been ready to fight now relaxed, sensing the change in the air. Zelthar felt a wave of emotions wash over them. They had come to kill this human, but now they were witnessing something beautiful. The bond between the human and the creatures was unlike anything Zelthar had ever known. The human had a power that went beyond violence. They could inspire peace. The bear-like creature took a cautious step back, its aggression fading. The human slowly reached out a hand, brushing it against the creature's fur. "It's okay," they whispered. "You're safe now." Tears filled Zelthar's eyes as they realized they could no longer go through with the mission. This human was not just a target, they were a protector. Zelthar's heart pounded in their chest, filled with new feelings of admiration and respect. They wanted to protect this human, not harm them. As the beast calmed, Zelthar stepped closer, ready to stand with the human. I won't shoot," they said, their voice shaking. The human turned, surprise and relief washing over their face. "Thank you," the human said, their eyes shining with gratitude. In that moment, Zelthar knew they had made the right choice. They had found something more important than completing a mission, a new path filled with hope and understanding. With the immediate danger past, Zelthar and the human shared a glance, an unspoken agreement forming between them. They would face whatever challenges lay ahead together. Zelthar felt a spark of courage igniting within them, a desire to learn from this remarkable human who had changed everything. As they stood side by side, Zelthar knew their life would never be the same again. As the sun began to set, the forest around them was filled with the soft glow of twilight. The humans stood tall, still beside the bear-like creature, their hand gently stroking its massive head. Zelthar couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. The way the human connected with the beast had changed everything. Zelthar felt a mix of admiration and confusion. They had come to kill this human, but now they found themselves wanting to protect them. The bond the humans shared with the creatures was powerful and inspiring. Zelthar had never seen anything like it. But the peace was short-lived. A sudden rustle in the bushes made both the human and Zelthar turn sharply. The sound grew louder, and out from the underbrush emerged a pack of fierce wolves, their eyes glinting in the fading light. The air became tense again, filled with the unmistakable threat of danger. Zelthar's heart raced as they instinctively moved closer to the human. They were no longer just an assassin, they were now a protector. "We need to get ready," Zelthar said, their voice urgent. The human nodded, but instead of pulling away or preparing to fight, they took a deep breath. "We can handle this," they said, confidence shining in their eyes. "Let me talk to them." Zelthar stared in disbelief. "Talk to them? They are wild! They won't listen!" But the human remained calm, stepping forward once again. The wolves stopped at the edge of the clearing, growling lowly. Their muscles tensed, ready to pounce. Zelthar raised their weapon again, heart pounding. "No! Don't!" they shouted. "You'll get hurt!" But the human raised a hand, stopping Zelthar in their tracks. "Trust me," they whispered. "I won't let anything happen." With that, the human began to approach the pack. "Hey there," they said softly, their voice steady. "I'm not here to hurt you." The wolves hesitated, their growls fading as they watched the human approach. Zelthar felt a mix of fear and hope. Would the human really be able to calm the wolves? They kept their weapon ready, prepared to jump in if needed. The wolves moved closer, sniffing the air, but the human didn't flinch. Instead, they knelt down, showing they meant no harm. "Look at me," the human said, their eyes shining with determination. "I know you're afraid. I'm here to help." The human slowly extended a hand, palm up, allowing the wolves to smell them. For a moment, the clearing was silent. The tension hung thick in the air as everyone held their breath. The wolves shifted, curiosity overcoming their fear. Zelthar watched, amazed. How could the human remain so calm in such a dangerous situation? One brave wolf stepped forward, cautiously sniffing the human's outstretched hand. The human smiled, and a wave of relief washed over Zelthar. Maybe this would work after all. Then, without warning, the largest wolf lunged forward, snapping its jaws at the human. Time seemed to slow as Zelthar shouted, "No!" They aimed their weapon, ready to intervene, but the human acted faster. With a swift motion, the human stepped sideways, avoiding the attack with surprising agility. "I told you I'm not here to fight," they yelled, their voice firm. The other wolves hesitated, confused by the sudden aggression. The human remained steady, hands raised. "You can trust me." Zelthar felt a rush of adrenaline. The moment hung in the air, a heart-stopping blend of fear and hope. Would the wolves attack, or would the humans succeed in calming them down? Zelthar's heart raced as they gripped their weapon tighter, ready to protect the human at any cost. But just then, something unexpected happened. The wolves began to retreat, stepping back from the human. Their growls faded into confused whines as they backed away, sensing the human's bravery and strength. Zelthar lowered their weapon, astonished. The human's unwavering confidence had changed everything. The wolves were not just dangerous predators, they were creatures filled with fear. And this human had the power to reach them, to make them understand. As the last of the wolves vanished into the shadows, Zelthar took a deep breath, feeling both relieved and inspired. The human had faced danger head-on, proving that true strength comes from courage and compassion. Looking at the human, Zelthar knew that they had chosen the right path. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, united in their mission to protect each other and the creatures of this wild planet. The last of the wolves disappeared into the trees, leaving the clearing in silence. Zelthar stood next to the human, their hearts still racing from the encounter. They turned to look at the human, who was now breathing heavily but wore a proud smile. "You did it," Zelthar said, astonished. "You actually made them back down." The human nodded, their eyes sparkling with excitement. "I told you," the human replied, grinning. "They just needed to see that I meant no harm." But Zelthar could see that it was more than that. The human had shown real bravery, standing up to creatures that could have easily killed them. "I never thought I would see something like that," Zelthar admitted, feeling a sense of awe. "You're incredible." The human laughed softly. "Thank you, but I couldn't have done it without you. You stood by me ready to help." They exchanged a look of understanding, and for the first time, Zelthar felt a deep connection with this human. But as they stood together, the weight of their original mission loomed over them. Zelthar's thoughts drifted back to the reason they had come here. They were supposed to eliminate the human, to end the threat they represented to their people. Yet everything had changed. "Zelthar," the human said, breaking the silence. "I can sense you're troubled. What's on your mind?" Zelthar hesitated. "I came here to complete a mission," they said slowly. "I was supposed to kill you. But now, I don't think I can do that." The human's expression softened. "I'm glad to hear that," they replied gently. "But why? What changed?" Zelthar took a deep breath. "I saw how you connect with these creatures. You showed me that there's strength in kindness, that there's more to life than fighting. I've always been trained to think of my mission first, but I want more than that now. I want to protect you, not harm you." The human's eyes widened in surprise. "You really mean that? You want to help me?" "Yes," Zelthar replied, feeling a surge of determination. "I want to choose a different path. I want to stand with you and learn how to protect instead of destroy." The humans smiled warmly, their hearts swelling with joy. "Then we can work together. There's so much to learn and experience. We can protect each other and these creatures." Zelthar felt a weight lift from their shoulders. They had made a choice, and it felt right. They were no longer an assassin, they were a protector. A wave of excitement washed over them as they considered all the possibilities that lay ahead. "Where do we start?" Zelthar asked, eager to begin this new journey. "First," the human said, glancing around the clearing, "we should make sure the area is safe. There could still be other threats nearby." Zelthar nodded in agreement, ready to follow the human's lead. Together they moved through the forest, the human pointing out signs of danger and teaching Zelthar how to read the environment. Zelthar listened closely, absorbing every piece of knowledge. They were learning not just how to survive, but how to thrive in this wild world. As the evening sky darkened, Zelthar felt a sense of peace settling in. They had chosen a new path, one filled with hope and possibility. No longer would they be defined by their past as an assassin, They would forge a new identity alongside this remarkable human. The forest was alive with sounds, and Zelthar felt a connection to it all. They looked at the human, who was now more than just a target. They were a friend, a partner, and a guide. Together, they would face whatever challenges came their way. With every step, Zelthar felt their hearts swell with purpose. They had made the right choice, and they were ready for the adventure ahead. "Let's go find those creatures," the human said with excitement. "They need our help, too." Zelthar nodded, their spirits soaring. "Yes, let's protect them together." And as they walked side by side into the darkness, both knew they were no longer alone. They had chosen each other, and that choice would lead them to a brighter future.